And so that way we can create a closed loop cycle on clothing production. So for instance, I know of 2 weavers here in the area. There may be more, I'm sure, but like she wove these fabrics here, and actually she dyed them, not with natural dyes, but she dyes her own yarns, and then she's got 3 different looms. One of them is huge. I mean, it's so cool, and she does crazy, like, teeny tiny seed beadwork, like really insane beadwork. And so I took her fabric, and then I created a garment, you know. And so she could have gotten her yarn from Catherine at the alpaca farm. And, you know, so there's like the closed loop system right there. And I could have dyed it, or we could have sourced somebody else for dyeing. You know, she could have given her fiber to you, or she could have spun her fiber and given it to you to knit, and then you could have given your knitted product to a seamstress, you know, or however many steps, you know, you're interested in. If you can do all the steps, which I get kind of crazy and want to do all the steps, you know, but I don't have time for that right now. So and 2, the community aspect of it is awesome because it's a fellowship and there's more celebrating going on and more inspiration and more idea trading with that whole concept. And there are some really awesome communities that are already starting this kind of concept, and I put those websites on your reference sheet as well. Here, I'll pass this around so you guys can check that out. Fiber Shed, and also permaculture. Is anybody familiar with permaculture? Permaculture is basically a closed loop system of, we don't like to use the word sustainable, rather regenerative. So a constant, because everything is constantly ever changing. And so we want a system that, you know, can acclimate and can morph and change into whatever is going to be healthiest for that system. So permaculture is life, really. It's growing plants and things for shelter, for food, for fibers. It's a whole system of plants and animals and everything that basically create a closed loop of surviving all with each other and not having to, you know, outsource this or that. Though there is trading and things that go on within those types of systems. But the fiber shed and the permaculture, so permaculture is just playing on the word of permaculture with the whole textile production of it. So these organizations, and both of these are in California, of course, they've got it going on over there. In San Francisco, they have farmers. They're a very close organization that are close with the farmers that are exactly the process I was talking about. They have spinners and weavers and fashion designers, and they're all totally close-knit and together with trading their different services with each other and creating garments that are like within a 50-mile radius, you know, exclusively. And they, I mean, their websites, their stuff is like so incredibly inspirational, and they're doing it. We have about 10 minutes. Oh Lord, okay, all right. So I need to get into the dyes.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, I'm gonna pass around some dye stuff. This is eucalyptus. So we have eucalyptus trees all over the place, and the leaves make a dye. And I don't know, I just brought this just more hands-on stuff for you guys to remember, because that helps me remember. You can open it up and smell the eucalyptus. It smells so good. Prickly pears. Yep.
What color does the eucalyptus make?
It makes all different kinds of colors.
Like, is it used as the base, like for the dye, or? Like,
No.
I don't understand how it's used as dye. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Let me go into the mordants. First, you have to mordant your fiber. And for cellulose and for protein fibers, it's different. And there are sources on your page that you can go to, particularly the MyWa. That really has, the MyWa blog you might want to write down blog on there because I didn't specify that, because that is where they just have a plethora of information about mortising, and that's the most important part of the natural dyeing process, is mortising. So that is where you put a fixative on the fabric to on the fabric in order for the dye to actually adhere to the fabric and stay on it. So I'm going to pass some of these natural dye tests that I've already done around since we're short on time. This is loquat, the leaves of a loquat tree, which those are everywhere around here, so you can check those out. So a mordant can be vinegar or salt, can fix into the fabric. A popular mortising substance for natural dyers is alum, which I had to order my alum, because we don't have any place that supplies that here.
I saw some in the grocery store the other day in the spice area.
Oh, really?
You can get them sometimes from certain pharmacies, get it. But it's better to get it wholesale because of the price.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think I actually bought like a pound of it, and yeah, it's definitely cheaper on that. This was dyed with onion skins. So, okay, here, let me give you a basic beginner dye recipe. You can use, so per 1 pound of fabric, so 1/10 of that, so of alum, or you could use salt or vinegar. I recommend alum, but salt or vinegar you more likely already have in your home. So that would be 1.6 grams. So I would do like 1.5 grams of salt. Well, let's see. Where's my little again?
That was 1 pound of,
Or I'm sorry, ounces. 1.5 ounces of alum per 1 pound of fabric for mortising. And so you want to dissolve that in a stainless steel pot. Now your pot, if you use copper pot or what other kind of cast iron, those are going to make a different color in your dye. Those are going to have a different chemical reaction. So I would recommend using just a basic stainless steel pot. So dissolve your alum or vinegar or salt in there, and then you want to steep your fabric in there for about an hour, and then rinse it out. And your tap water should be fine. It should be the closest level, pH level. And then take your onion skins, and I brought onion skins. You guys know what onion skins are, but again, more hands-on, remember kind of thing. Take your onion skins, probably about halfway, fill up halfway through the pot. And you'd be surprised at how quickly you can collect onion skins in your house. Well, depending on how many onions you get. But you can pick them up from restaurants. I mean, they go through onions like crazy. And I have one friend of mine that owns a restaurant, Finn's. You guys probably eat at Finn's. He collects onion skins for me, and I, there's all different friends and family. They'll save their onion skins if they remember. So fill up the pot halfway, and let that steep for about an hour, and then put in your fabric, and then you can keep your fabric in there for anywhere from 1 hour to like a couple days, depending on the depth of the color that you're wanting. Now this is on linen. You'll notice that, see, this is a cotton bamboo blend, and this was the same, dyed with the same flower as the silk here. So your protein fibers are going to take up the dye way better than your cellulose fibers. And right now I'm actually in the process of tweaking the mortating process for cellulose to be able to get more of a color like this. This is onion skin, and this is a little wildflower that grows all over the place. Indian blanket, which is not out anymore. You know what the Indian blanket is? It's like a little sunflower. It's like orangish, yellowish. And just, you know, that basic recipe that I gave you, you can try with all different types of stuff. So, well, the prickly pear is different. This is a fermenting process. Like the indigo for blue, that's a fermenting process. So that is a very different process of dyeing than what I'm talking about with the mortating. Eucalyptus bark makes different colors. And then two, sunflowers. Any kind of yellow flowers, like seaside goldenrod, that'll produce a yellow. That grows wild everywhere here. You know, it drives people's allergies nuts. And, but it makes a great dye. It's a yellow dye. But I really just encourage, and this is Hopi sunflowers, so the seeds make a black dye. Let's see what else. But yeah, just, I encourage you guys just to, and, oh, groceries, from the grocery store. This is red cabbage, and on silk, and then, the cotton bamboo blends. Yeah, if you guys want to come up here and check out, or, oh, and this is, pine tree bark dye with the alum.
I got lost. What do you do with the onion skins? Can you tell us that recipe?
Fill the onion skins about halfway up, up your pot
Oh,
that
okay.
you're cooking in. So it depends on how much fabric that you have that you're
Okay.
wanting to. But I'm basing this off of like 1 pound of fabric. So onion skins about halfway up the pot. So you want to get, and you can do less. You just get a lighter shade. You get more of a pale shade. And that's just like a basic, for all different dyes and all different, some things like the Indian blanket, you know, there's, you use less flowers for that as far as like your dye stuff in the pot versus onion skins. So it's really all like a big experimentation. I mean, there are traditional dye recipes that have been around for thousands of years. And that's another thing, is replenishing these, or keeping these recipes alive that are dying out, because the elders are dying, and so they have the information. And if they don't pass it along, how to get these colors, you know, then that'll be lost until somebody finds it again, you know, if they are able to. Because there's a lot of crazy combinations of like seashell, like some kind of crazy funky oyster shell in Africa that they grind up, and they mix that with the eucalyptus bark, and it turns this like beautiful blue-green color, like, and, you know, stuff like that. Like, who would have thought it would take forever to experiment with all these different things? But a lot of it is experimentation and trial and error. Marigolds, you know what? I'm gonna have to. I made a list of things that produce all different types of dyes, and I meant to print that out for you guys, and I didn't. That's all the time for today. I wish we had so much more time and so much more.
I want to have you come back in the spring and maybe talk again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thanks for listening. Hope I inspired you guys. Check out the website. They're inspiring for sure.
Thank you very